Okay, let's get into this incredible book. You have this world where there's just jaw-dropping beauty right alongside this constant crushing threat of annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about amazing art described like it belongs in a museum, but it's set against these devastating supernatural storms and enemies who offer zero mercy.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how does a world facing that still create such beauty?
Exactly. And what can we maybe learn from the characters who are just trying to survive it all?
Right.
So this is our deep dive looking at some really focused material on the book. The idea is to give you the core insights, some surprising bits, without the usual information overload.
Or cutting to the chase.
Yeah, exactly. It's the kind of focused thinking, that critical reflection that we really value. Actually, it's similar to the approach you might find with tools like the Mindful Moments AI book analysis over on our YouTube channel.
It's a fascinating setup. And the book highlights this clash right from the start, even on the cover.
Yeah.
You've got Michael Whelan's painting of Yasna Colon.
Oh, it's stunning.
It is. And it's not just called fantasy art in the text. It's called great art, period. Something you'd expect to see hanging in a gallery.
Right.
And then inside, you get these descriptions of paintings by Dan dos Santos and Howard Lyon, the Heralds, done in this, Renaissance or romantic style. Art is clearly fundamental to this world, Roshar.
It feels like it reflects the world's deep history, its culture. But like you said, the other side of that coin is the threat. The scale of it is just immense.
Mm-hmm. It's not just the high storms they've always lived with. It's the Everstorm, this terrifying new storm that seems to come from the wrong direction, and it brings the Voidbringers back.
And the book makes it crystal clear this isn't something you can just hide from. There's that line from the Stormfather, the big sprint of the high storm.
Oh, yeah, that's chilling. He says, you can find refuge from storms. Not so with our enemy.
Gives you goosebumps. These aren't just monsters. They're framed as this ancient, relentless force.
And you're dropped right into a world that's already reeling. Kolinar, the capital's basically fallen apart, riots, the queen's gone silent.
The armies are weakened from trying to fight the Everstorm head-on, which didn't work. The king, Elhokar, he's been wounded by assassins.
And some key figures, even difficult ones like Sadeas, are gone. Dalinar actually misses Sadeas' shrewdness, even though he was a massive thorn in his side.
Yeah, it's chaos. And right in the middle of it all is Dalinar Kholin. He keeps hearing this command in his head. Unite them.
And for him, it's not just a suggestion. It feels like an absolute necessity.
He directly blames their divisions for failing to stop the Everstorm. He thinks unity is literally the only way they can possibly face what's coming, this desolation.
But making that happen, that's his struggle. He's a high prince, but he needs to persuade monarchs, other kingdoms, and most of his own peers, the other Alethii high princes. Can't trust them. They're all about power.
Sabariel maybe being the exception.
Yeah, Sabariel seems more pragmatic, someone Dalinar feels he can maybe rely on. But trying to reach out beyond Alethkar, it's tough.
He warns other rulers about the Everstorm, sends letters urging unity, sharing info, and gets shut down. Remember that reply from the queen, dismissing him as a thief based on old prejudices.
It shows the deep distrust between nations. Even potential allies, like in Azir, their first instinct is suspicion. They see Alethi aggression, comparing Dalinar to the Sunmaker, this old conqueror. They even call Alethkar's kingdom tribes. The history runs deep.
And all this is happening while Dalinar is fighting his own past. The book gives us these flashbacks, showing the man he used to be, the one who relied on the thrill.
The thrill. It's almost like another character, isn't it? It's not just battle rage. Soldiers describe it as this pulse of the fight, the rhythm of killing and dying. It was this almost supernatural edge for Alethia warriors.
But the Dalinar we see now is actively trying to leave that behind. There's that flashback fight at the Rift with Tanalan. He feels the pull of the thrill, he wants it, but he consciously resists.
He's starting to realize there was something profoundly wrong about the thrill. It's a core shift for him.
And he puts it to the test later, in that duel with Eratin. He chooses not to use the thrill, even though it means he gets beaten cleanly.
It's huge. Giving up something that powerful that he relied on for decades, that shows you how hard change really is, especially when the old way seemed to work,
Yeah, he's trying to lead differently now. Diplomacy, example, not just brute force. But people are skeptical. Even Kadash, his own Ardent, calls his visions blasphemy.
Right, Kadash respects the new Dalinar, but is still haunted by the memories of what they did with the thrill. It shows how the past affects everything, not just him.
And the urgency just keeps ramping up. Like when Dalinar uses an Oathgate, one of those ancient portals, to travel, he visits Thaylen City right after the Everstorm hits it.
Oh, that description is brutal. The city is cracked and broken like a dinner plate, just devastation.
And he meets Queen Fen there, and Taravangian too. And Taravangian, who's usually so calculating, is just openly weeping.
It's raw. That moment really underscores the human cost, cutting through all the politics.
Seeing that, feeling that pain, it just steals Dalinar's resolve. And it leads to that really insightful thought he has.
The hypocrite line. Yeah. Sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a person who is in the process of changing.
It's such a human moment. He's acknowledging he's not perfect, that he's caught between who he was and who he's trying to be. It's not hypocrisy, it's growth.
And that process, that change, it's not just Dalinar. The whole story pivots around the refounding of the Knights Radiant, this ancient order.
Dalinar sees them as the key, the greatest weapon against the Voidbringers.
And we see this rebirth mainly through Shallan Devar and Kaladin Stormblessed. They kind of embody different facets of the Radiance. Shallan's a light weaver, bonded to pattern, a cryptic.
Cryptics are drawn to truth, right? Which is ironic given Shallan's journey.
Totally. Her struggle is so internal. She's juggling multiple personas, Shallan, Veil, later Radiant, using her light weaving, her illusions, maybe as much for herself as for others.
And hiding huge secrets, the biggest being that she killed her own mother, keeping her power secret, mostly.
You see her wrestling with it, thinking, I can't be this person, feeling like a monster. But then she has these moments, like realizing Jasnah's advice about faking confidence actually works. It was working.
It shows how much perception shapes reality, maybe. Her relationships are key, too. Adolin is this steady support, amazed by her even with all her complexity. He's more straightforward, action versus politics.
Which contrasts with Jasnah, her mentor, who's always pushing her towards scholarship, facing hard truths. It's a challenging relationship. And Shallan uses her sketching, her art, to focus, to pay attention, even to abstract things like Spren.
Then there's Kaladin. His story takes him home, back to Hearthstone. That reunion with his parents, Lirin and Hestina, it's really emotional.
Especially the tension with his father, the surgeon.
Yeah.
Lirin represents the path Kaladin didn't take.
Right, and Kaladin has this moment where he basically declares who he is now. You're a surgeon, father, but I'm something else. A watcher at the rim. I will protect those who need it.
And then he uses Stormlight right there, lashes himself up, hovering, glowing, declares the radiance are back to his whole town.
His father's shocked, naturally. But his mother is delighted. You even see an Osprey, a wonder spren, appear around her. It's quite a scene.
Kaladin also gives us this really nuanced view of the Parshmen, the ones turning into Voidbringers. He was their captive, saw their society up close.
He feels this strange connection, almost like deja vu. Had he been here before, done this before? Hints of past lives, maybe?
Could be. And he develops this empathy for them. He says, I can't help but feel a kinship to them. They're people. And they're angry, with good reason.
Which clashes completely with Syl, his spren, who just sees Voidbringers. It's that conflict between empathy and the official story.
He sees the fused, these ancient Parsh souls, in new bodies, overseeing things, and strange spren guiding them. It adds complexity. He even notices their slave system is harsh, but weirdly fair in some ways: food, rest, but strict discipline.
He and Shallan end up on this crucial mission in Kholinar. They have to go undercover. Shallan makes Kaladin this intentionally awful disguise so no one recognizes him.
Ah, yeah. And they see the city firsthand, besieged, refugees everywhere. It's grim.
Kaladin joins the city's wall guard. He finds himself kind of rebuilding that bond he had with Bridge 4, but with these new soldiers like Noro.
Though he notes it feels almost too easy this time, compared to how hard it was to forge Bridge 4. And their leader, Azure, she's tough, mysterious, has this weird sword that might be something special, like an honor blade.
And other Radiants are emerging, too. Renarin, Dalinar's son, he struggles at first. Me, I don't know how to.
But then he has that incredible moment healing Adolin and showing him that vision of himself perfected. It suggests his powers are maybe different, precognitive or something.
Could be. And even Hauber, one of the old bridgemen, gets healed by Stormlight, gets his legs back. It shows the tangible hope the Radiants represent.
And then Jasnah returns, out of nowhere. And she is pure Jasnah, analytical, academic. First thing, find the heralds.
Right, the legends who fought the old desolations. She figures they must know much that can greatly assist us. Very practical.
And her method. Exploring Shadesmar, the cognitive realm, she thinks she can track souls or intentions there. It's a very different, scholarly approach to this cosmic war.
Beyond the main characters, there are so many other fascinating bits woven in. The thrill, like we said, Dalinar rejects it, but it's still out there influencing people. What is it exactly?
Good question. And the spren. They're everywhere, reacting to everything. Osprey for wonder, pain spren for hurt, Ross spren for decay, anticipation spren, shame spren, gold spren, wind spren, glory spren, swift spren for speed. They make emotions almost visible.
They feel like part of the planet's ecosystem, tied to consciousness.
And then there's that really weird one in Urathru, Resheffer, the Midnight Mother. It copies things, it kills. Even Pattern, a being of abstract thought, is terrified of it, feels ancient and wrong.
You also get Wit, the storyteller, dropping these strange parables, like the wall built to keep people out, not evil in, or the queen who tricked a god.
They're not just stories. They echo the characters' dilemmas about trust, divinity, the past. Wit even steps in directly with Shallan.
Tells her she's not a monster for her past, and gives that amazing line about failure.
Failure is the mark of a life well lived. Basically saying, if you never fail, you're not trying anything important. Which, he claims, frees him up to try and fail for big causes. It's such a Wit thing to say.
We also get Taravangian's perspective, the king whose intelligence flips wildly because of this pact he made, trying to follow his master plan, the diagram.
Yeah, you see him on super smart days, frantically working, and then days where he's completely lost. And his encounter with Odium, terrifying.
Odium, the shard of hatred. He also appears to Dalinar later. He gives this twisted history lesson about the original Radiants, claiming their own goodness undid them.
And tells Dalinar, you will free me. Just chills. What does that even mean?
Who knows? And the Parshmen, or listeners, continue to get more complex. We see them change into war forms, see the Fuse leading them. But we also see Rollin, the listener unman, finding this connection to his past through the rhythm of the lost. It gives them history, grief.
All these threads just crash together in Kholinar. Elhokar the king actually steps up, admits his past failures. My judgment has proven deficient. Wants to lead the charge to save his city, secure the Oath Gate.
He tells Kaladin he's there to succeed where the king couldn't. It's a moment of real growth for him.
The assault on the palace is intense. Azure rallies the wall guard. Adolin is fighting, maybe struggling a bit with his giant shard blade at first, but using it smartly with the soldiers.
Kaladin and his squad secure the gallery, glowing with stormlight, looking almost unreal to the people watching. It's full-on radiant action.
So yeah, this deep dive shows a book just packed with stuff, a world on the edge, incredible stakes, but also deep character work, complex ideas.
You see leadership under pressure, personal change, the struggle to understand different sides, and finding light in, well, pretty overwhelming darkness.
Connecting all those plot points and character moments to the bigger themes, that's where you get the richer understanding, the kind of thing we try to do here, and definitely something encouraged by resources like Mindful Moments.
Definitely. And it keeps coming back to this idea, doesn't it? That even in this epic conflict with world-ending stakes, the things that often feel most important are the personal moments.
Absolutely. Dalinar's struggle with the thrill, Shallan confronting her past, Kaladin connecting with his parents or the Parshmen, a father's hug, a friend's belief in you, choosing not to give in to rage.
So how do those small personal acts actually ripple outwards? How do they shape a world that seems determined to break itself apart? That's something really powerful to think about after putting the book down.
For sure. And if you enjoyed this discussion, this way of digging into a story, definitely subscribe for more deep dives like this one.
Yeah, and maybe share this with someone else who loves getting lost in complex worlds or thinking about the ideas behind the stories.
And hey, if you want the full experience, grab the book. There should be a link in the description. Reading it yourself is the best way to really immerse yourself.
Absolutely. Most importantly, just keep reading, keep exploring, and keep thinking critically. Whether it's a fantasy epic or just the world around you, there's always more to understand.